Club Podcast here. Just letting everybody know the rundown. Joey's back from his 2-week hot hiatus. Mary's back from her. He was too hot.
The temps were too hot.
He was too hot. Mary was on her own hiatus.
I was in the mood.
Okay.
I mean, you got a nice tan. Your tan looks good. Your nails look good. We need a scratch
Producer
later.
Julian holding it down on the ones and twos.
He looks like he just came from the beach as well.
Yeah, he does have
He has a glow.
This is like my beach cowboy shirt.
Nice.
Season 2 Miami Vice.
What
Second
summer is
arrest you
this?
now.
Is this
Yeah.
Tech Bro summer?
Flip-flops on, though.
No, this
Yeah,
is
that's
like early 2000s Levi
Okay.
summer.
All right, Levi summer.
This is
Do
a
you
Levi
wear
shirt.
flip-flops?
Sometimes. I used to wear them all the time when I grew up in Surfside and stuff. But
Okay.
I wear them off and on. So.
I'm like part of that whole weird generation that doesn't like people to see their toes. So I'm always you know what I'm talking
You
about?
have
Yeah.
gross toes.
Yeah.
to
Well,
be
yeah.
fair.
Yeah, you gotta.
I will be
you gotta
honest, I
get a
do.
pedicure,
So
man.
we always have to have, you can't flip-flop sandal it sometimes because when people be like, dang, fool, yours is a
Can we-
little too
do you
fresh.
know,
you know?
do you know when I was recording Throw Rag, right? Do you know who Throw Rag is?
Yes.
Like a really freaking great band. I think they're actually coming down here to play with Super Suckers or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
I saw them on the, they're
But,
playing Come and Take It Live, right?
But anyway, really, really great band. And Eric is a really amazing tattooer that was on that TV show where the Cat Van... Oh, Craig. I
Craig.
keep saying Eric for some reason, but Craig. And he was the shop that if they didn't like Kat Von D or they were leaving her, they went to his shop. He's the British guy but he plays and
It
was
wasn't
playing Throw Rag.
Electric.
Okay.
What was it like the shop called?
I
forget.
can't remember,
Yeah.
but the whole week I was there, they were trying to get me to get a tattoo, and I was just like, because when I get them, it's kind of a real personal thing for me. I don't just like get them and stuff. But by the end of the week, I decided, okay, I don't really want to get it on my hands. I don't really want it up my neck. I'll get it on my feet because that's kind of going a little bit past the, you're jumping the track there
Yeah.
kind of type thing. So I got Safe Journey, and I got British birds on them because Craig was, from Britain, and so I
Yeah.
got him to do those kind of birds. But after I got them, they were all teasing me because they were saying if I lose my right foot, I'm going to have a Journey tattoo. So,
Wow.
That's even, I'm
Let's
telling
hope that
you.
doesn't happen. Yeah.
That's a good friend. That's a good friend tattoo artist.
Yeah.
I don't think my friend tattoo artist would be like, let's do it on the arm, man. Let's do it. How about your head? Yeah, I don't know about that foot. Let's put that foot away. It'd be like.
Well,
don't
I
know.
mean, you got a smelly foot thing.
Well, I
so
do.
It's like
I have a lot of
people wanna
issues.
tattoo your feet.
I'm from the old country. We have old smells, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
You mean the backcountry?
All right,
Yeah.
so we talk about a few things that are Austin. You obviously are old Austin. You've been here. You've seen it all. The mayor came out and
Well, let's
yeah.
let's say no.
I'm fucking
tell the-
starting it
tell-
right fucking
no,
now.
You didn't
Stop.
say
Let me
top.
finish it.
tell
Let
the
me
pe-
finish what I'm
tell,
fucking doing.
Tell the people who we have on.
I'm talking first.
Okay.
You know
all
what?
right,
Fuck
sorry,
this. You
sorry.
tell the people we have on.
No, I'm
Tell
saying
them.
tell them.
Tell them.
well, even if you tell them, what does it matter? There's going to be a bunch of people that are going, who? What?
No,
Where?
that's
Like,
not the
just like,
case.
there's not.
We got a
Before
lot.
we get into topics, we'll introduce the guests. Joey.
We got an
All right.
old Austin guest on. Artist, musician,
Skateboarder.
Renaissance man.
Renaissance man.
Renaissance man.
Muralist.
Legend.
Legend.
Well,
One of the few people that I know from Lake Jackson.
are you from Lake Jackson?
Oh no, sir. But I know some people from Lake
I
Jackson.
was going to go, oh my God,
know,
like this is.
They good country people out there
Yeah.
in the old
Yeah.
country
Oh,
over
yeah.
there, Lake Jackson. Speaking of smells,
Do you know when? When Poison 13 played at Continental Club, and this is back now, like we were talking about earlier, where now clubs were asking these bands back because they saw all these kids coming to the shows and stuff. So we finished playing. This kid walks up to me, and I was pretty drunk at the time, and pretty smart ass with him and stuff. And the kid walks up and he's going, "Are you from Lake Jackson?" And I went, "Yeah." "Are you from Lake Jackson?" He goes, "Yeah." Like you have to be from there to know how this
Yeah.
is like.
the look.
And so then I looked at him and I said, "Well, what elementary school did you go to?" And he goes, "Orrin and Roberts." I said, "Well, then you know my mom." And he looks, and, "Your mom was a librarian?" I was like, "Yep," like that. And he was like mind blown.
Wow.
Like,
Small town Texas, man. I'm from Beeville, Texas.
yeah,
Which is
I
its
know
own
where that
little-
is. Yeah.
Small little world. But yeah. But yes, Tim Kerr, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I guess we're gonna say thank you a few times before we do anything
Thank
else.
you. Yeah.
But before I was rudely interrupted by my friend
I apologize.
/ enemy,
Yeah.
the mayor is finally saying that he doesn't like the new Zilker plan.
Oh,
He's
really?
against
Good.
the underground garages. He's against adding construction to the area.
Good.
I'm not 100% sure if he can stop this train of money, but he's right now saying that he's against it, and he's like wants to slow down the process of this whole Zilker.
They can definitely slow it down.
Rebranching, you know?
Zilker is one of the biggest metropolitan parks in a major city. I feel like in like the bigger cities in the country.
But the money guys are trying to rush this through because
But-
once they can break ground, it's over then.
But I feel like Austin's pretty hard fast on conserving the parks, and that's the biggest part. What of all the parks that they're not gonna let construction on, they'd stop construction on Zilker. I feel like they're not unlike the Project Connect plan that they just
force through also.
Yeah, that's I think something that the mayor and people in the
Shout
city
out
can't-
Dirty Martins.
It
can't
makes
really
sense for
stop
the
that.
integrity of the city to keep the parks.
Yeah,
Well, you
Oh,
hope.
integrity.
You hope.
Well,
that's
it's
what's gonna happen.
it's like the
It's-
crown. It's like the crown, I guess example park,
Yeah.
of all
Yeah.
metropolitan parks. It's that's
It's
our
our
crown
central
jewel.
park.
It's our central park. Basically.
Well, plus if
So-
you start digging, you're going to affect all the water
The-
and
the
all.
Yeah,
that
you gotta
stuff.
save the
They're telling them
salamanders,
how they're
man.
gonna
Yeah.
even
The
be able to do it,
salamanders.
There's a lot going
Well,
on.
I
in
feel
that.
like they could
Yeah.
they could run shuttles to parking garages elsewhere if
That's
that's,
true,
what they're
too.
concerned about.
But
That's
they
true.
can also
do
just
have-
move the thing out to something else, where it actually there's so,
Well, they're talking about. They were talking
Bring back
about.
the Dillo.
Yeah.
The parking
Oh,
in Zilker. They recently were supposed to cut it off, and they extended it. Right there on Mopac,
Yeah.
that underground parking, they're supposed to start construction.
See, I would
so
support
now-
underground parking under that bridge, the Mopac bridge,
Yeah.
But
further
that's
up.
far away.
That's a little
We're on the
further
other
away.
side of Mopac too.
Yeah. I think those lots are kind of just
The
dirt
hobo
patches
side.
anyway. So I think they could stand to be developed
people.
into.
But don't you think the
actual
park
lot.
makes a lot of money with all your Blues in the Green and ACL and all
Well,
these?
that's why they want
I
to
think-
do this whole monetization, is because they're going to build permanent stages and have places where they can.
the Moody
Yeah,
Amphitheater kind of
but-
have
They want to have
stage-
permanent stages and places where they can sell stuff. You know what I mean? It's all about.
But it's
This is what this is really about.
But if they're gonna do it for ACL, then you'd think that they would do it for another big music festival like Coachella. That's in the desert. They could definitely permanently install all of Coachella and have it just sit there all year until it comes around every year. But they're not gonna do it.
Well, they have 4 or 5 festivals at Coachella though.
Yeah, but they still don't have permanent.
They got that
installs.
country one.
They still
and
have
they got
people
the other
go out.
one.
They,
They
still
still have-
go and build out.
Yeah, they still have
Oh,
people
yeah.
go out to the desert and build it out. So
Okay.
I just don't
that's
think
what
they're
I'm
gonna
saying.
be able
It's
to build anywhere around there just because, I'm saying, the watershed and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
It's
I
like you're
agree.
going to affect.
yeah, it's too many. There's too many hoops and hurdles for them to jump over in order to green light construction. It's just
I
a
don't know. They
headache,
almost
you know?
push it through real quick there for a second. I'm still
Yeah,
not
well-
believing that I don't trust no one ever in Austin.
Yeah, I don't trust
Politics,
it
you
either.
know what I
I
mean?
still think that
They're gonna do it.
Yeah,
I don't know
matter
why
what
they're gonna
you-
do it, but
it's
they-
sad. But it's just like,
Well, I mean, money's why they're doing
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
We'll let
Yeah.
that slide.
Yeah.
it's certainly not Austin music. That's not why they're doing it.
Cousin,
I
It's
tell
not,
you
what.
because there's hardly any
Well,
Austin
They,
bands.
they
playing
did
at
they
that
did
thing,
do
so-
that permanent install 3D auditorium thing at Auditorium Shores. So it's not that would be another Auditorium Shores Butler Park would be a better place for them to do a permanent install stage. That would be a different park that they could do something like that. They already fucked it up.
But
and did
that's
the
not what they're
kids park.
doing.
Well, no, it's just
They did
it's just
yeah.
stages of development. They already went into that park and closed it for 3 years to do the kids park. So who's to say that they wouldn't do it to the other side?
Yeah.
From
I mean,
Butler Park, they might do it to Auditorium.
They're already
Shores.
redoing the stupid convention center, and that's to be
Yeah,
shut down
well-
for 5 years. And
But
then-
that's also I feel like. I mean, we talked about it before, where that's just a overall problem with these conventions that are just too big coming into town and trying to take over a build. They're trying to use one building, but there's not one building in Austin that can fit those conventions. So they end up taking up 4 hotels. So they're redo the convention center so that we don't have to take up 4 hotels plus the convention center.
But they'll always take over the hotels because that's part of the whole
Did you
bullshit.
hear about the convention coming this weekend?
No, what's coming this
The
weekend?
Little People Association.
What?
There's gonna be 3,000 little people
like
running the streets of Austin.
But like, where are they conglomerating?
I don't
Where,
know. I don't
okay,
know.
I was like, are they at the Palmer Event Center or something?
When is that one?
Are they
happening?
putting them at?
This
Happened this weekend.
Huh?
Who's this weekend?
Yeah.
I
Really?
wonder if they
Yeah.
pick like a venue that like is grand, but like in a small scale.
Well, it's like
Oh,
something
easy.
has to be accessible.
Little
you know?
Caesars, you know.
No, not
Chuck
Little
E.
Caesars.
Cheese.
No, I'm talking like maybe like
Showbiz pizza? What are
maybe
you
like
talking
800
here?
Congress, where it's
Yeah.
like that's like a nice venue, but it's not too big. But for little
There's
people, it'd be pretty
3,000.
big.
It's the
Whoa.
convention
A lot of
Hey.
people.
Whoa.
I feel like if it's the capacity is like 800, then you can fit like about 1,600.
They still are the same width.
Whoa.
I didn't think about it.
What's
like
that? What's
I don't
what's
like the math of this whole.
I mean, you can lower the ceiling if that's what you
That's-
want to do.
I
Show
watched a
people
video-
got
I watched
no
a video
reason.
that was like going viral
Show
recently
people
about
got-
the Matthew McConaughey movie where he's like
Tiptoe. Oh,
yeah,
Tiptoe?
Tiptoe. You haven't heard of that movie?
Have
That's
you
like
heard about
where
this movie?
Matthew McConaughey dates like
It came out
a
in the
girl
90s.
and they have a kid. And then the girl finds out that Matthew McConaughey's entire family is
It's
little
small
people.
people.
Oh, I
So
saw
then
this
she-
on
And
TikTok.
Gary
Yeah,
Oldman
yeah.
is like
Gary
he plays a
Oldman's
little
in-
guy.
And
But
It's
he's
like
walking
not
on his
politically
knees, kind of like
correct at this
dwarf.
time.
Yeah.
But like
You know?
Gary Oldman, you know, one of the greatest actors of all time, plays a little person in it, and they're just
And
like
He's like walking
Peter
on his knees
Dinklage
the
is one
whole
of the
time,
people.
like a
is one of the
dwarf.
little
like
people.
Tim
Yeah.
Conway, you know.
And it's
Yeah.
like
His
you're
golf
watching
videos.
it going, this is not real, but then it's real, and then I start crying, but then it's also kind of funny. but
Yeah,
then it's also
there's
kinda
like a
funny.
line where they're like, I think it's Kate McKinnon is the girl in the movie.
Kate Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale. And
Beckinsale, yeah.
She goes like to Matthew
I'll send you the
McConaughey's
trailer
character.
later.
She's like,
Crazy, so.
I didn't know your whole family was midgets, and they're like, and Matthew McConaughey was like, they're not midgets, Carol, they're dwarves.
Right on, right on.
Yeah,
Show
right
a
on,
clip.
right on.
Yeah.
Let's
yeah.
go. Let's go
My
on to the
God.
next topic.
All right.
That's
yeah,
funny, though.
we're treading
We're-
on some
we
shallow
wanna-
waters here.
So they found another body in the lake.
Oh, doom.
Don't tell me.
It's another man. They haven't released any information. They say that they don't think any foul play.
They're
Obviously,
trying
this
to-
is the 5th body in 2023 found in the lake. It's a little bit higher up. It's not on near the rainy east side area.
It was like
It's-
it was further down Cedar Chavez.
Yeah.
So Tim,
but-
we have our theories.
Oh.
We think we have the murderer in
Hey,
Austin.
We don't think we have the murderer.
We think
in our
we have.
midst.
We're like.
And not in
so
our
there's a lot
midst.
of like people ending up in Town Lake,
Yeah. No,
and
no,
so
no.
we have our theories.
The Lady Bird Lake Killer.
And yeah, so now another person ended
For a
up
longer
in the
name,
lake,
I don't
and so
know.
we're back on the case.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
we're
like,
back
of
on the
course
case.
they're gonna come out and be like, yeah, it's no connection. It's like it's just a random body.
But they haven't said the
Like,
name or have any information, so I'm kind of like, I really can't speak on it until I get a little bit more. I can do some
Well,
digging, but
did-
right
have
now,
they
so
released-
far,
Did they release the names of the other guys?
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Some of them, right?
Well, their
Not all-
families do, or not
Oh.
the police don't ever.
They
tell
built
us.
the
yeah,
fence.
see, that's the
they built the
thing.
fence.
It's like-
you know, the families.
Can you not build a fence?
I didn't build the fence. They built the fence for people not to
For the-
fall in.
oh
the
yeah,
lake.
the little people fence.
No, no.
Sorry.
That was.
Sorry.
It's
Get
a
off-
bigger.
get off
It's
your
a big
tiptoes.
fence. I mean, it's easy to jump.
I thought you said literally it's
No.
like
Oh
knee
my
height.
God. We're-
So I don't know if this is related to the serial killer, but why not?
Do you know that I always wondered why, like, Lady Bird Lake, she absolutely did not want that to be called that. And so it just seems the most disrespectful thing to me at all, that if you really respected this woman and she passed and you named it something she absolutely did
wow.
not want you
Yeah.
to name it, that's kind of,
I did not
That's-
know that.
So
Yeah.
Town Lake, this is we've been here a long time.
yeah.
Nobody drowned in that thing for years, and now all of a sudden that all these drunk people are drowning in it. I don't believe it.
It's like every month there's somebody they find
I know
in the lake.
plenty of
Yeah,
Austin
yeah.
drunks, and no one ever goes swimming by
But
themselves.
I watched a video.
They get
recently-
lured in the water by something. I'll
I
tell you
watched
that.
I watched a video recently about Texas population boom and the Texas Triangle recently, and like just in Austin, I think based on how many people have moved here I think in the last 2 years it was like 800 to 1.5 million or something within 2 years. So like that's like I feel like a substantial amount of people coming in to add to the population that aren't from here. That there's like we've talked about before, the like
Nobody swims Town Lake.
no, it's just there is an
They
air
do get on
of
those paddle boards.
it's an
though.
air. There's exactly.
If they're not
There's
drowning.
the air of like unknowing.
Yeah, I
like,
mean, if
this
you look at,
people
like,
that
the
come
There's
in
a
and
million
just don't
paddleboarders
know.
out there. None of them are drowning in Town Lake, and
Well,
they're
you don't know-
drunk.
You don't know.
Do not pretend like they're not drinking out there.
But the thing is, like,
they got like a boat out there
I'm
that
tell-
sends that gives them whiskey.
you don't. That there's not
Have you
like
heard
when
about
somebody
that?
drowns in Town Lake,
got, like, a little
you
thing
you can
with a
drown like maybe
these
in the
dudes go out there in the
evening,
boats
middle of the
and they
day,
sell
and then
drinks
your
to the
body
people
might
on the
not be found
paddleboards.
till like later in the night, in the next
You know?
morning. So like,
They do like little raves on Town Lake on the weekends.
oh yeah,
They have a DJ set, and they,
And no one's
and
drowning.
that little barge when
That-
it comes out
that's-
of like Zilker,
that's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
they
and
say.
it's like
They
waist
just
deep,
say
and then
that
they, like,
nobody's
Have you
drowning.
gone
like,
to this,
little, like-
Joey?
DJ part. What?
Have you gone to this?
He knows the DJ.
Yeah, I know the DJ. Yeah,
I bet you
I've been
do.
known to spin a couple.
DJ
records.
Lady J.
Yeah,
It's Lady
yeah.
J.
Yeah, but the
All right.
DJ Lady Bird on the right.
next topic.
Next topic.
So recently, this weekend, there's an incident on 6th Street where a guy got assaulted by like a couple cops. I guess he was drunk and intoxicated.
We're not talking about this.
We're bringing it up.
What
It's,
happened?
We're not going to talk about
a
this.
friend of the pod. But so
Oh yeah.
so this
Yeah,
guy
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
guy was on 6th. He was drunk. These horse cops came up and they like tackled him, put him on the ground, and this girl got upset. And after he got arrested, she sat in the horse poop and started putting it all over her body.
Yeah, like smearing
Smearing
it all
it
over herself.
as a protest, saying that like people are shit
Yeah.
and that
Like cops
peace
and
I don't
police.
think her pro to
brutality.
say that people are shit.
And so now she's
Well, it's
becoming
like the
real
police are
viral. She's been on like 101X and all these
Worldwide,
like,
World Star.
World Star, like all these things. So I just thought we should bring it up.
I think
you know.
that is definitely topic worthy.
People call her poop
because
girl.
it's like, yeah, you see a lot of stuff on 6th Street. I wouldn't go as
A
far
lot of
to say
shit.
you see a lot of shit on 6th Street. I wouldn't go as far to say that that's never happened on 6th Street, but it's got to be like once.
I don't
want to
say too much, but you know, I used to host the open mic at
Stop.
Electric Church.
Stop.
I've
And
seen
Stop.
I've seen
Don't
her,
She's
No,
a,
seen
she
her
would
do a
come
set.
and do open mics.
I would see her do a set.
Yeah, same
here and
girl. And she's a little eccentric, you know.
there. A
but
little.
a little.
We're not
But,
here to judge her character. We're here to judge her actions.
I'm
Well,
just
well, I
saying.
don't think
I'm
we're
just,
here to
I'm just saying.
judge.
I'm not even judging. I was just like bringing it to light.
because
of
it's
Austin-related
it
news.
was a topic that happened it
But,
was
you know,
newsworthy this week.
Not knowing anything about this because I don't pay that much attention.
Yeah.
to
Honestly, you don't want to pay
Street,
attention
yeah.
to this
But
rolling
I'm
around
going
in
to say
horse.
one thing: like whatever it was that she was protesting, obviously none of you guys were talking about that.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah.
all talking about her
The
cover.
shit,
her
yeah.
Well, okay.
So it
I feel
obviously
like-
didn't work.
Yeah.
I
it's
feel like in
she,
that
I don't know
situation,
what.
what she was protesting was more personal than anything, because it was like the act was personal to her. Like she felt like motivated to do
Like,
that
right,
act,
yeah.
and like because she felt like personally like.
Larry, you have any
involved.
topics?
Well, she felt that it was an
They do.
unjust.
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So like,
But that's
you
what
know.
I'm saying. Nobody's talking about that.
Nobody
so-
cares about that.
Because
Just she goes crazy,
there's
jumped
so
in the horse.
many different kind. Like I remember, like a couple months back, I was just waltzing down 6th Street at the end of the night.
You're
and, like,
waltzing?
I mean, it was like skipping.
Wow.
I saw like at least two like different groups of people that were like watching police officers like pretty like aggressively arrest people on the street, like on the street floor. So like I'm pretty sure like
It's
that.
Austin and 6th Street. It's always
I
been.
don't
No,
know,
exactly.
If you go
Austin's
to
like-
6th Street during the day, it's like
it's
the
depressing,
Warriors
dude.
or something.
It's
it
like
looks
a-
like a post-apocalyptic.
it's
like
like
I
a
remember like, back
diet-
in 96, 97, they had like 3 or 4 of my friends handcuffed, and then they maced them.
It's like it's
Yeah.
called. I think
After
it's
they-
like
after they were
Diet
handcuffed, I
Skid
was, like,
Row
watching
right
it go,
now.
"Oh,
Like
Diet
cool."
Skid
during the
That's
day,
pre
it's
no
like
cell
Diet
phones back
Skid
then,
Row.
so it's just like. Sorry, guys.
Next topic.
Next topic,
Um,
yes.
All right.
The Pflugerville ISD police officer at the high school, no, the middle school. The middle school.
The middle
Hmm.
school.
Got in trouble for Snapchatting inappropriately with students.
What?
13-year-old.
Damn, he adding people on
13-year-old.
Snapchat while they walk
okay,
in the
this
door.
motherfucker, first of all, his name is Steve Solis, Esteban, but everyone calls him Steve.
Is that a Snapchat handle or what?
Stevie.
He's
Yeah,
49.
Stevie Snap.
He's 49 years old, and he's
Oh.
Snapchatting 13-year-old. It doesn't specify the gender, boys or
Mm.
girls. Asking
Weird.
them to be friends with benefits.
What?
Yeah.
What the
And
fuck?
one
Fucking
victim
crazy.
said that her parents took her phone away, and so Solis brought her a phone
Whoa.
and had downloaded apps on the phone and added himself as a friend.
What the fuck,
Yeah.
dude? What? This was in Pflugerville?
Yeah, at the Pflugerville
Whoa.
Middle School.
That's so wild.
Yeah.
What the fuck was he thinking, dude?
I don't think
Well,
Snapchat is good
he'd
for
been
anybody,
there for like
really.
12
That
years
was
too,
the
so
one.
there's
What?
more shit's
That's a
gonna
little-
come out.
So,
yeah.
like, so now are they basically
yeah.
saying like, yeah, that we found out that he started doing this shit on Snapchat, but we're gonna investigate and see what else he's possibly done, because obviously if he just did some shit on Snapchat,
He's lurking.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
how was this guy not like caught by what's his name, the guy to catch a predator?
Walker,
Yeah.
Texas Ranger.
Not Walker.
Walker, Texas Ranger. Fuck him up, Walker.
Next topic.
Oh, sorry. Next topic.
Man, these topics are rough. We have like a.
That's a fairly serious show for like a comedy
Yeah.
show. So
Yeah.
We like to
So
make it light.
I'll do a little lighter one. So UT professor John Goodenough is the world's oldest Nobel Prize Nobel Prize recipient. Died at 100. He was a teacher at UT for chemistry for his battery work.
Oh, he's the guy
Bro,
with the batteries.
I don't-
Yeah. And he was a faculty member for 37 years, but oldest Nobel.
He
I don't know.
invented the rechargeable battery that we have on our phones.
yeah.
But what
Yeah.
else did he invent, dude? Did you guys know that like UT has been doing some
What? I
pretty-
don't know. Tell
they-
us.
Well,
they've
he
been
was,
doing
he
some
was a
pretty
known
s-
inventor.
but
You went to UT,
they've-
correct?
yeah, we both like
yeah.
UT's
she was a
Is that where you
I
were?
have a
librarian.
lot of friends.
No, she was a librarian there, and I worked at the library, so
Nice.
all of this stuff from like
Nice.
'78.
Is that how y'all
on,
met?
so. Huh?
No.
Link
Nice.
Jackson.
She knew me in elementary school because I was
Fires
the
are still
librarian.
burning, the
Yeah.
fires.
All
I'm dead
right.
serious, but she was 2 years older, so we didn't meet till I was a freshman in high school. No sex, nothing, just best friends, brother and sister. She went off to college, realized age doesn't have anything to do with anything, wrote me a letter, and we've been together ever since then. So we
Wow.
started living
How many
together in
years now?
Started living together in '74, got married in '78. I don't
Gosh
know
darn.
what, so.
Wow.
That's a
Dang.
Congratulations.
That's
We
amazing.
love love.
Ah. We're still trying to find it.
Stop it.
Start
start crying.
Don't even, dude.
If you know any librarians, I love to read.
Over. Over, dude.
Topic.
I had crushes on many librarians as a kid.
Oh Jesus.
I would like hang out after school with librarians.
What are you about to
just-
add the security cop Snapchat next?
No, I'm just saying if there's like any librarians out there.
You just want to be groomed by a librarian.
Yeah.
I got a card. Like, it's,
All right. I don't even know what you got going on there. I have a couple more, but I'm gonna just chop it down right now. 9 prisoners in the state of Texas have died in the last 2 months from heat-related. I believe since mid-June, 5 of them. Texas prisons still aren't air conditioned, and it's just deplorable. I mean, it's deplorable here in the free world. So I can't imagine it in prison, sitting there
Yeah.
angry as hell all day, all night.
Texas weather just
Oh, man,
dealing
driving
out
the-
those
well, and they've never cared.
sentences.
Like, cause like Greg, you've been talking about this topic for a
They've been-
long
yeah.
time. There's never they never try to fix.
They
it.
got in trouble like 5 years ago and were told they had to put air conditions in the units, but they never really did because they were just like, oh, okay, we're on the case. It's like some of these buildings are old, and this whatever. And like maybe they put a couple units in, but a lot of units still don't have ACs.
I mean,
and it's
even
just,
if they don't give a fuck about the prisoners, like the staff, like how are you going to keep staff working in there with no AC?
I feel like those staff members got little fans in their
Yeah.
offices.
It's still not enough.
Hey,
No.
when I was down in the proper, it was pretty fucking hot during the summertime, and that's all I had. I just had a little desk fan,
Yeah, it's not
and it
enough.
was like 115 down there, dude. It
well,
was
it's
terrible.
115 out there right now, and I don't know. So
They got that breeze.
we hate Texas because they hate us, and we wish that they loved us like we love it, and that's all I want to say.
All right, I'll shoot through these topics real quick, and then we'll go right into the interview. So,
What topics are you gonna shoot real quick,
well,
you
I'm
fucking
shooting-
slow bastard?
Hey, easy. So, Austin used to be the live music capital of the world. And now there's rumors saying it's not the live music capital. It's going to be the live comedy capital of the world.
False.
That's like there's
That's so
that maybe
Live
like
bad comedy
announced-
says
yeah.
I haven't heard a good
Next
joke in
topic.
3
That's
years
like
Next
here.
topic.
comedians saying
Uh,
that.
so-
Name a good comedian from
you know,
Austin.
the
I'll
best
wait.
thing about the live music capital is at one point they decided that there was going to be a noise ordinance because everybody was moving to 6th Street,
Yeah.
but it was too loud. Kind of
Yeah,
thing. So they
like-
were gonna,
yeah,
so the
'cause
city was
Mohawk-
going to have a noise ordinance, which
We've
I thought
always-
was freaking great. I thought this was hilarious, and you're shooting yourself.
Classic.
In the foot
We've
and all
always
this, and,
stolen
like,
that title
But
from
what
Nashville
happened
anyway.
was they
I'm just saying.
But then I read that during South by they were going to lift it. You know, which is
Yeah.
like this. They don't support
give us some
Austin
grace, yeah.
musicians at all, and
Oh, they don't care.
so when they had the meeting for this whole thing,
Mm.
somebody went in with a noise meter, and the meeting was too loud. And I just
Wow.
thought, okay, that's the best
Nice.
thing
The
I've ever.
irony. Yeah.
Nice.
Y'all are too loud.
Didn't
Y'all-
they I'm sorry. I think I read that they're gonna make them pay like because for a long time they've been making like a lot of the smaller bands play for free at South by. You know.
Yeah, they did a fair pay thing.
It's
Yeah.
always been like that.
Yeah.
No, actually, though, it wasn't. You didn't play for free. You paid
To
to
play.
get your tape heard,
Mm.
and then they decided if you could play or not,
Yeah.
and then that's how that all worked. That's how come all the free parties started up. So, which then they stopped that. So,
They stopped that too.
or
Yeah.
tried to stop
Well,
that. They didn't really
It's still
work.
kind of, but they're trying. I guess the fair pay thing kind of happened,
It did.
so now they got to pay the bands.
Oh, that's pretty
next year.
crazy.
I'm not 100% sure how much or what. I don't know all the details, but
Yeah.
it's a
probably not
start.
much, yeah.
It's a start.
I mean,
we'll take it.
I think
a little bit.
I think it was like 250 or something,
Okay.
which is like, I don't know. I feel like that's fair.
All right.
If you're like a small band, like I don't
Oh,
know,
yeah, it's
250
Well, I
to
mean, if
play.
you're traveling,
We're a $1 billion
yeah.
company.
Okay, but, like,
making
it's-
billions
it's
of
like,
dollars.
You know,
hundreds of
I
billions,
have a buddy
hundreds of
who's a
billions.
rapper in the UK. His name is Lord Apex. That guy traveled from the UK to play South by, I
Mm.
think, like 2015, 2014, and he paid like a good amount of money for that. But for him, it was like an investment, like stuff like that. That guy, he's going on tours with like Freddie Gibbs right now in the UK.
Okay,
So like,
yeah.
so
it paid off, yeah.
it
Yeah,
paid,
but we
it
used
pays
to- I
off,
mean,
it pays to like hustle.
What if it doesn't? though?
Most of the time when we were playing, we never made that much kind of. I mean, a lot of
Dude,
times you
yeah.
didn't make any money.
Exactly.
You had to
Yeah.
pay for
It's
the
like-
beer or whatever. So.
Yeah.
250, I think is
That's
I
like
think
the
it's
only
plenty
unfortunate
fair.
thing is like, I mean, so many of the '80s. I mean,
because
if a show costs more than $5, people were mad about that. you
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
They're like, you're a $5 band. Like, I'm serious. Like people used to
Yeah.
get like angry. Like, oh,
Yeah.
$5.
well, and
I'm
it's
sorry. I'd
like,
rather go drink in the parking lot and listen there instead. It's like,
Well,
Yeah.
but the other thing was all the bands
broke
at that time, or at least the indie
Yeah.
bands, which indies, I hate labels. Labels drive me freaking nuts because there's so much baggage attached to all that stuff and so many rules and uniforms and all that kind of stuff. But the bands back then that were indie or whatever kind of, they were just, everybody was playing because it was a big party. You were having a great time, and you would split them. Basically, if there was an out-of-town band that came, you basically paid them most of the money so that they would have money for gas
Yeah.
and stuff,
Yeah.
and it was fine.
Yeah.
There wasn't this. I don't know exactly when. I don't know, maybe mid '90s, maybe. I'm not even sure when. Like it started being this thing where bands expected to be making this amount of money kind
Yeah.
of thing, and that's kind of what killed a lot of the club stuff too, was because when the companies started coming in, and instead of having it to where it's a percentage, so you make as much money as you bring in kind of thing, you started having these companies coming in and saying like, okay, well, if you don't book this band on Monday night and give them $1,000 or $500 that nobody really even knows that much about, we're not going to let you book this other band that's really famous that we have for the
wow.
weekend so you can make
But
money.
that's what I mean. This is what the whole thing became about. Like you had to get lawyers, and it's like the manager, the lawyer, the booking. It's all the same like percentage coming out of the band's money, and they set up the gigs or whatever, and they get a cut of license. I don't know. It's just like it's a big.
yeah, but that's why
That's what it's always been though. It's been
Yeah,
a
but
crazy,
that's also
evil,
why-
spirited thing.
that's why everybody started what they started back in the late 70s, 80s and stuff,
Yeah.
and they're trying to do it now, I'm sure. I haven't been keeping up with it that much, but I'm sure there's places that kids are renting out or like putting on show, like
There's a
Under the
lot of
Bridge
good. There's
or
really,
things like
there's
that,
really a
where-
lot of stuff happening.
Yeah,
right
we-
now.
so people-
we have some friends.
it-
They're in a band called Fuck Money, and they've been
Yeah.
playing a lot of bridge shows.
So
tunnel
now it's
shows,
just a
and stuff
matter
like
of
that.
you're at, like, why are you doing this? Are
Yeah.
you doing this to get some sort of validation and money and a name for
real
yourself?
mark.
Or are you doing this because it's coming out of here and it's just something you need to be doing? So, which is what we were all doing
Yeah.
back in the day. So,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of still doing. So,
Mm.
you know.
Like one guy, they play that convenience store on West Campus now. The
What
Real
is it?
Mart.
Yeah,
Oh, they do
friendly
shows
real
at the
Mart.
Rio Mart?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
They
they've
do
been
shows
doing
at
that
the
for a
Real Mart
while.
Right there
Yeah.
in the middle, right by the candy.
Well, that's cool.
setup.
That's good though. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
Well,
let's
yeah.
go.
I mean,
let's-
and that's the thing is do it places, and if you get arrested, great.
Already started.
You'll probably
go
get
with
even.
it.
Well, the deal is you'll probably even get more. You know, you'll be more famous now because you got stopped and arrested. You know, kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Right.
So it's like
well, you have like you can go viral or something. You know, there's more like phones on you. to,
Yeah.
Like see it. I
Well,
guess,
there's
or
also a
something.
really great story, Tom, that I was in this band. I'm not going to say was because who knows, we may play again. I have no idea. But Monkey Wrench, which is Mark and those guys from Mudhoney and Tom from UMen and Gas Huffer and all that. And you know,
Love Gas Huffer.
anyway, Martin from Australia is in it too. But anyway, Tom was telling a story about the van, whatever that thing's called, the big, huge festival that they have, though, where all those bands play. No, not Bumbershoot. This was like the van thing that travels all around. I can't think of the name of it right now. But anyway, it's one of the really big, festivals that happens and stuff. And so here come the Dwarves. And the Dwarves were pretty notorious anyway for not playing very long to
Yeah.
begin with. And the place is packed. Come out, guitar player plugs his guitar in, kicks the amp, throws the guitar down, walks off the stage. Everybody else in the band walks off the stage. Tom said all the kids just went, yeah. And then literally for the next couple of festivals, that's all everybody was talking about. Did you see that band that didn't play? Did you see that band?
Yeah.
You know, thing,
I was
which is
at that
like-
show here in Austin when He Who Cannot Be Named faked his own death and came back and everyone went crazy and rioted. And stuff. Yeah. Yeah, the Dwarves. He Who Cannot Be Named is like their guitarist. And,
Yeah.
I forgot his real name. I actually met him. He's a real nice guy. Like
Yeah.
a school teacher. I think he quit the band now. He's not even.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I just knew
he's
some
like-
of them, but I don't
Well, I mean, the
think I really
Dwarves
met
obviously
them, so.
been around for like so many years. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know who's originally even still with it. But
Yeah, the first time they ever came here, they played at the back room, and it was kind of when they were playing
God.
more of the like '60s kind of sounding
Was that when
garage
background
stuff.
was on 6th?
No, it was
No,
on,
the back room's always been on Riverside.
Riverside,
The
okay.
bathroom.
Oh,
And anyway,
bathroom?
they
Yeah,
I
it
went with
sucked.
some friends that were a lot younger, and we went to go see this thing, and I just remember that the singer came out in a dress, and they were kind of. I don't know. It was kind of more 60s. So it was good. It was really great and stuff. But I just remember my friend saying to me, like, well, this isn't punk kind of thing. And I just started laughing. I was going, this is exactly what it was like.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Dwarves. I don't know. It's fun. They out in Minnesota, I think, right? They're from up there.
I don't remember where
Somewhere
they're from.
far
I
up
don't know
there,
what,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, they literally did start out as like total 60s garage cover band kind
Yeah,
of sounded.
which is I
Not
like that
covers,
sound,
but
though,
sounded
yeah.
like that
Yeah.
style of stuff. So
But yeah, I don't know. The festival thing is an interesting one because you can't stop it at this point. There's like 100 of them. Like
Oh, yeah.
maybe there was a couple like back in the day, but now there's hell. Even Austin's got like 6 festivals going on a year. I feel like is this the nature of the music business? You know, more money for Live Nation, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah,
Austin's C3 and all that. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Like, were y'all like touring a lot? Like when you first started playing music and stuff?
We're gonna do
Or was it
interview-
more like
I mean, you
local
play-
stations? Or?
I mean, you mainly
Transition.
play.
It's already transitioned. We skipped the
No,
transition.
no,
It's
you
happened
guys- you
without
guys-
a transition.
No,
We're
you
just
guys
transition.
have to start
It didn't
doing
have.
the
It's already
transitions.
the
All right,
natural.
all right,
You
so
guys
we're
We,
going-
it's already too late. The
No,
moment's
you-
passed.
You've not
All right,
been
so
The
on
moment is
it.
passing.
Ruben, stop. So we're going right into the interview now.
No shit.
Yeah.
When it first started going, it was mainly town, like your town. You would play there and stuff. And then you would see fanzines or some band might come from Dallas or Houston, and then they would ask you to come and play at their place, and you'd stay at their house and all that kind of stuff. And then you started getting more in, bands from like L.A. or from some. So it kind of
It's just like word of
grew
mouth
like
kind of
that,
stuff,
yeah.
yeah.
And then it was like that for a really long time. Like, we were talking about that earlier. Like, people have this feeling that this stuff was really huge, just like skating back then and stuff. But it wasn't that big. I mean, it was
It's a small community, kind of.
community, and people didn't really understand this stuff at all, or didn't know what the hell was going on, or
Well,
had no
Austin, man,
idea
was
of any of
really-
what.
Well, even
what
like
this
the
was,
skate
so.
culture was probably a small.
Yeah, no,
community
it totally
as well,
was
yeah.
because there was when I graduated high school in '74. That's when urethane wheels came out, and I was surfing all the time at home, so I knew I was coming up here to go to school, and so I got a board. And that Christmas was when everybody got skateboards. And skateboards were like this huge thing from 74 to maybe 76, somewhere around in there. And then went down. And like you didn't, except for a bunch of us that all just really loved skating and still skated. But I mean, it was so, like I say, people had no idea what was going on. So I broke this arm. There's plates in this arm going back because I crushed this arm in a pool in Bastrop, a 14-foot pool. And my wheel stuck in the gutter, and I swear to this day I ran to the bottom and slipped and fell. But everybody was like, you look like you were surfing. You just like dove from the top kind of thing. But every single doctor in the hospital was just like, so you were skating on the sidewalk and you fell into the pool? And
They
I was
didn't
like,
understand
no, you couldn't. And then I
If I
had
could draw you a picture, sir, I would, but
Yeah.
my arm's broken. It's like,
But then I had Gary Winogrand, which was a big deal, was a photographer teacher at UT and stuff, and I would take pictures of us skating in there in the pools and stuff. We're not doing trick photography in here. It's just like, this isn't
Oh,
a
wow.
trick. Like he thought I was like superimposed. I don't know what he thought,
Yeah.
but it was just like, this isn't. But that's
This is
that's
us.
just like a small of all of this stuff. Does that make sense? Like that's literally how nobody knew what was going on or what this was or what. My dad came and saw us play at the Ritz one time. And when it was over, I asked him, I said, what'd you think? He said, well, it was really loud. And how come you didn't stop that fight? I was like, what? And he's going, well, every time y'all start playing, everybody'd start fighting.
Oh,
Kind of thing. I was just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, that's not what, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was the Ritz back then? Was it pretty grimy? Like at that point, was it like a?
There wasn't. I mean, there were no seats except for the back. I think the back had 3 or 4 rows, maybe, and I think the balcony had seats. I can't remember if it had. And then it was. I mean, it was pretty bombed out, kind of trashed out, and there wasn't any air conditioner. There wasn't any heater. There wasn't anything like that. And but it's just like a place everybody called home. There was all the weirdos getting together and playing. So
That's amazing. Yeah. There used to be a punk venue. It was on East Chavez called the Broken Neck.
Oh yeah, that place is
Remember that?
great. No,
Yeah.
I know exactly.
And that's
what that
kind of
is.
like
Yeah.
when you tell those
Yeah.
stories, that's what it reminds me of. It's like BYOB, and people like, I think at one point they shut it down because somebody actually broke their neck.
Yeah.
And
Because they had
yeah,
skate ramp
yeah.
in there and all that
And
stuff.
they were
Yeah,
like,
that
they would
place was
have like
great.
people
That
were
was like a-
living up in these
Yeah,
little
yeah.
like cubbies up there.
But I mean, that's it, and that's probably still going on. We just don't really know about it yet, kind
People are
of type thing.
definitely-
So yeah, it's
yeah.
like, I mean, you hope that that's still going on,
Dude
but I
bro
know it
houses.
is. So yeah,
Forever, yeah.
Yeah.
So we saw you play at the Preacher Gallery with Jason Lee's art show.
oh yeah. So if I can't even remember what was it, me and
I wanna
Jerry
say,
was
like-
I playing
I think
guitar
so,
and he
yeah.
was playing
Yeah, yeah.
banjo.
Yeah.
So that's
I
up
wanna
around
say
the
that
sun.
was probably 7 or 8 years ago now.
I can't remember.
I can't
But
remember.
like,
Beth,
so
Beth always
how
says
we heard
6
about
years ago is what
is
she always
because all
says.
those like skaters were there too, like Justin Dolly
Yeah.
and stuff.
Justin Dolan was there, yeah.
And like all these other, and then Jason Lee, like I remember somebody brought one of his like shoes too,
Yeah.
because he had his own signature shoe. But yeah, like that's where I first got like known for your like stuff, and you're playing it. But I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
this like skate art, music culture, and that's like where I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. This
Well,
is
I
like
mean, but
awesome.
that's
yeah.
I mean, I've been doing music and art before elementary school,
So,
probably.
so you moved to Austin at UT, right after high school, 74.
Yeah.
When did you start Big Boys? Was that after
That was
school,
after,
or
yeah.
like,
I graduated in '78, and we started probably either at the end of '78 or the first of '79 is when we kind of started. And I mean, in reality, I pretty much owe all this stuff to skating because that's how I met all those guys. That's how I kind of
Is that how,
I
like, the
knew
music
Jason Lee
yeah,
was
yeah.
because I did their boards for stereo.
Oh yeah.
For their anniversary, I did the boards for them and stuff. But yeah, I mean, we we just wanted to see if we could play one time at Raoul's, and that was it. We weren't planning on being a band, kind of type. It was just this, let's see if we can do this once.
Have fun.
Because y'all were doing covers at the beginning, right?
Some, and we wrote stuff too. Chris played guitar. He was either still in high school or he had just gotten out, and he played guitar like Junkyard ended up playing. The AC/DC and Ted Nugent and stuff. And I played like Nick Drake, John Martin, all this acoustic finger picking stuff. Like when I broke my arm, I was supposed to be playing at Kerrville that summer, and then I broke this arm, couldn't play and stuff. And so we flipped a coin to see who was going to play guitar or who was going to play bass, because we both played guitar.
Oh, wow.
I got guitar and he got bass, and that's how it kind of got going. And then it just, it got to a point probably in the 90s where they would always just roll their eyes because I'd keep saying, okay, this is the last band, I promise, this is it, kind of thing. And it just kept happening because there was been a whole bunch of bands.
Well, at the time, was it mainly just like a lot of country bands playing? Like, was it hard to like find, like, was there a lot of other like punk bands at the time like playing, or like?
There was like a handful of bands. It was mostly like RTF students and art students that started up bands here, and some people from San Antonio, like the Next and stuff, had moved up here. But there was. Once again, there was probably maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 bands at the most, and there wasn't any place anybody could play. Because nobody knew what this was. They didn't have a clue what. And even into the 80s, like you would get yelled at from idiot frats or whatever. Hey Devo, just because they didn't have a clue, like about Black Flag or Minor Threat or any of these.
You brought
other
up like
bands.
Sex Pistols. So Sex Pistols came to Austin. What year was that?
They came to San Antonio. They
San
didn't come to
Antonio.
here.
Okay.
And I was working at a record store, and I was so much into like soul music and like jazz and acoustic stuff and all that Sex Pistols just sounded like rock and roll to me. I didn't really, but I liked the Clash. I thought the Clash were cool. And then they came here and played for $5 at the Armadillo.
Wow.
Like all those bands came and played for $5 at the. We saw Bruce Springsteen for $5 at the Armadillo, that kind of thing. So
I love those old flyers because I went
Now
to like
it's
a
$200
Linklater art exhibit, and they had like the old Armadillo like style like flyers, band flyers, and now like they keep even so this Austin Public. They're celebrating 50 years, and they have the Armadillo on that. So it's like they're bringing back.
Well, there was a period where they were trying to have UT. A bunch of people were trying to get the Armadillo to take over Bevo.
I love it. Yeah,
and I used to have a sticker on the car that was like that was the mascot, was the Armadillo and stuff.
Yeah, I even got like an Armadillo tattoo just because
cool.
I love that like that old Armadillo World Headquarters. I never got to like see it, but I envision it.
So, I was just wondering, are you playing currently at all?
Yep. Not a lot. We don't play a whole lot because we're really quiet. So it's like we can't really play in clubs that much because if people are talking, it's real hard for us to hear each other to play off of each other and stuff.
True.
So, but we're playing, and we're actually going to be playing. We're playing on Saturday for some friends, and it's for the Austin Audubon Society stuff that's going on. They're trying to raise money, so we're supposed to be playing at that. But we're also Travis Audubon, and then we're playing at the State Theater on September 2nd.
Oh, wow.
We're playing there because they've been trying to get me to play there and show art and stuff. So I'm gonna do it with Will Johnson. I'm gonna get him to come and like put up art.
We'll
and
have
stuff.
to come out to that one for sure.
May even have some other people like come and just turn it into something else instead of just shows. So.
Will Johnson actually did an art show. I work at a coffee shop called Cenote on the east side, and he did an art show there, I guess around 2012, 2013, the baseball one.
Oh,
Yeah, because he does like baseball fields and baseball players and
baseball
stuff.
players,
It's kind of the same vein of what I do, except it's different.
It's similar,
it's a different look. So,
But yeah, it was like a baseball-centric show. It was really good.
But yeah, we're playing, and a lot of people that knew me. I was saying to you earlier that like of all these bands, Lord High Fixers is the one that really was pretty much changed me a whole lot and changed a lot of the people that were in it and the people that were close to it and all that. It was kind of a really big deal for us. And Mike's here, he's still here and stuff. But a lot of people that know me from the 90s and all the crazy feedback and guitars flying and all this kind of stuff are really shocked when they see this. But to me, I've kind of come full circle because I'm playing like this super melancholy kind of sounding stuff that I used to play when Chris and I flipped the coin, you know,
Yeah.
kind of deal.
Yeah.
So it's not, and I've always listened to that stuff
But
through all
music's
of this.
music, you know. It's
Yeah,
just like,
I mean, it's either good or bad, and to you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because to another person, what you think's bad is they think's great. So
Yeah.
it's just like art. It's so subjective that you can't, you know.
I mean, I love a lot of
it's-
hardcore bands, but I also love a lot of. I mean, these can't just be pigeonholed into one thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like,
That's why I
that's a
don't like
mistake,
labels.
you know?
That's why
Yeah.
I hate labels.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
how I've always, when I came up in Austin in the '90s, that's like the thing I liked about it. It was some people wore uniforms, you know, like
Yeah.
whatever, but that was just like you didn't have to, you know. I can go see a hardcore punk band or a hip hop show or whatever, and it's dressed. I don't have to worry about stuff.
Yeah.
Just be you,
Yeah.
you know.
No, that's. I mean,
Uh-huh.
Texas. Kind of always like, for better or for worse, if you kind of stood out here, you stuck out like a sore thumb everywhere else, just because the attitude here was a lot different. And it was that. It's like you could have a little bit of mod, a little bit of hip hop, a little bit, you could have all this stuff on, and nobody was, you know, there wasn't like a uniform that you had to be wearing or anything.
Like this
so
is us, this is who we are. I always hated that kind of mentality. It's like, look, I just do what I do. You
the
know?
fuck you were from Texas.
Yeah, that whole thing. Yeah.
Zorlak, that's who did it. So.
Oh, I mean, yeah,
you know,
Craig.
you know how Jeff got the Zorlak name was because there was a guy that was friends with everybody. It was kind of an older guy that would skate, and basically he would just do these kind of silly, like he'd do a layback on his elbow or just these crazy, just it wasn't that great, but it was just funny and kind of stuff. And he always said he was from the planet Zorlak. So Jeff, when Zorlak started up, Jeff named it Zorlak. But then years and years and years later, here comes the FedEx guy. And I'm going to say Mark because I can't remember what the guy's name was that said he was from Planet Zorlak. So I'll say Mark. But UPS guy comes, puts all the boxes down, is laughing, going, I used to know somebody that said they were from the Planet Zorlak. And Jeff started laughing. He goes, Mark? And the guy goes, no.
Another guy.
There's more of them. They're out there.
What were some of the skate spots that you used to skate in Austin?
Pflugerville was freaking
Pflugerville,
great.
or like
there was a ditch.
like San Marcos is like always like.
San Marcos
ditches
had a
over
pretty
there and
cool
stuff.
ditch but Pflugerville was where, like, we used to all go to Georgetown because nobody knew how to do the pump. And Georgetown had a ditch that went down this hill and then dropped into all the cement and stuff, and you could get going pretty freaking fast. And we actually stopped at Pflugerville, which was right off of the highway. And every time I drive by there and see that tree and the ditch is gone, I'm just like doing this or
Yeah.
go by. But it was really great. It had lips on either. It was just a really great ditch. And but the first time we stopped there, nobody knew how to pump, so we didn't seem that, But once you learned the pump, then that was the spot. And there was a bigger version of it that was really big called Selma, that was in Selma, and the cops kind of let everybody skate there for a while, but Selma's I don't know if it still is, but speed trap. And they had a garbage garbage can out for you and all this kind of stuff. But then they started realizing the cars were slowing down to watch these kids skate this thing. So then they filled it full of tar. Or basically what they said was a tar truck had a wreck and fell into the ditch and covered the. But it was real obvious,
yeah.
like you like stop.
I guess
this.
that old Texas right there.
Yeah.
So I read in '96 you got inducted into the Texas Music Hall of Fame.
I guess I don't remember what the year was.
Yeah.
I'm actually in there twice.
Yeah,
I'm in there because of the.
The
I'm in there
article said
'cause
you
of
were
the-
confused or something like.
Well, because I was in there first as me, just because I
Uh-huh.
was recording a whole bunch of bands during the '90s and all that kind of stuff, and then later Big Boys got in, and so I'm
Yeah.
in there because of that. So, I'm honored, but it's just like,
Congratulations.
well, yeah, it's like, because I don't know, it's hard to explain that kind of stuff. It's just, it's funny because I don't care, and not saying I'm that big by any means, but I don't care how big you get, you're still going to be sitting somewhere at a table, and here we all are talking, and the table next to you is going to be going, who? What do you do? Like, there's no point of like,
Yeah.
it's just, and once again, I kind of, as corny as it sounds, my whole thing is I hope I haven't seen the best thing yet. I just can't even imagine living like, oh man, that's it, Hall of Fame. I don't know.
I'm
what
done.
else.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even. it's depressing to me to be like that. It's just, I don't know. But once again, honored. I mean, it's great, and people voted me in. So
Congratulations.
I mean, it's quite impressive. Like I was like, because it's hard
Twice?
it's hard to pin you
Twice.
down, because your art and then the music and then even like the skateboard scene. So it's like you're pretty well versed in just like being creative, and like I was like looking like you have like your art just everywhere, Just in this road alone, there's murals that saddle up and everything, and you keep going with it. And then you have a show this Friday.
Friday
at,
night.
Friday, there's
a group show, right? As
Friday,
Steel-
Conrad from Trail of the Dead because he does really great art. He just got a bunch of friends, and they're doing a pop-up on Friday, and I can't remember the name of the place. It's some place that rents out music, like PAs and things like that. It's pretty far south Austin, and but I can't remember the exact name. I don't
The
remember
music
what's
lab
his own.
place?
No, I don't know if it's
So
music
I did in
lab.
our
I don't
show
know. It was like a
last week
name that I
that
didn't really
it's like,
remember.
But I know it's like it's in that like Spokman Coffee area. It's like the
Maybe I have
warehouse
no
there,
idea
yeah.
because I've never been to this place. So I don't
Yeah.
know. But it's just like a one-night pop-up, and then I have another friend from Wells that is doing a show here, like in 2 weeks, and I think I'm gonna put some stuff in that, and but yeah, I mean,
Where's that
this
show
was, I can't remember what. I just saw the name of it today, but I can't remember what the hell it was called. It's off of Baum Road. I know that
Okay.
it's like one
Okay.
of the Baum Road kind of little studio galleries
Yeah, I know
there and
yeah.
stuff.
Canopy or
yeah,
something?
Yeah, so I don't know. Well, it's not Canopy,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
Same-
one
similar.
of those places.
One of
that
those
does
places, yeah.
it. Yeah. What? Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So I know it's
So I
like
have
yeah,
my
it's like
glasses.
yeah.
What's
So
that
I know it's
say?
like Steel Austin. Yeah, music by Jonas Wilson, Analog Sound System Experience, DJ
So
Dan.
telling you where it is.
DJ Dan.
Yeah, it's at
Shelby
I
Road?
believe it's at Steel Austin.
Still Austin.
Still
Right,
It's
Austin.
right there. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
No, I
Yeah,
think
I was
that's
like, you
the
didn't.
name.
Yeah,
of it.
you didn't say
think
those
Still's
like
just
too
a-
far.
Oh,
Yeah,
Shelby
liquor.
Lane. Yeah, it's on Shelby Lane.
I think Stills is like a liquor
Oh,
support.
so it's 820 Shelby Lane.
Whatever.
Oh, Still's one of the sponsors. Okay. Yeah.
So
Cool.
So you went to UT for art and photography, right? Like that was your degree.
well, mainly art. I mean, when I came to school, my mom was an elementary school librarian. My dad was an elementary school principal. Both my brothers, who were 8 and 10 years older, ended up being coaches. So I kind of grew up in that, and I grew up at a time where, when you got out of high school, you went to college. I mean, that's what you kind of. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and they didn't teach guitar at UT at that point in time, and I didn't really want to do drama. And I drew all the time, so I was like, "Oh, I'll do art," kind of thing. But I didn't
Were you
have
kind
any
of like
sort
was
of.
it like an odd duck thing to be like kind of an artist at that time, or was it like especially in like Jackson was it like
Well,
was
I
there-
mean that my parents, who this was just, I mean, Beth and I is a totally different orbit than what even my brothers are in or any of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was if you did art, you taught. That's
Yeah.
what you were going to
Okay.
do. You were going to teach art and stuff. I mean, the odd duck thing was like listening to acoustic music when Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin was going on. That was odd duck. Surfing was an odd duck back then. I mean, just all of that stuff.
yeah,
It's like,
you like skate culture
Yeah.
too.
but so I came up here and went to school and just started. Photography seemed cool. Do that. Did ceramic stuff. Did painting. But nothing was. There wasn't any agenda to it. It was just
It
something
just
I
kinda
was
just
doing.
happened,
Yeah,
just
I
like
was
it
thinking,
just
same
developed
thing
on
with the
its own.
bands and
Because
the
your
music.
your
It was
art
like,
style is very kind of like folky and it has a lot of history to it.
well,
and
it's,
you point out like figures in
well, it's
history
because
that
when
they're not as necessarily known as
I mean, I was doing big paintings, not necessarily exactly like this, but like there's one that's on a. I just saw this skateboard when we were in a Santa Fe. Somebody brought it in there. I think it was Santa Fe, and had me sign it and stuff, which was pretty cool. But it was Lindsay. It's this really great guy that you wouldn't know about Frank Kozik at all if it wasn't for Lindsay. Lindsay was one screen and all this stuff. And Lindsay now does conspiracy skates and swamp posters and all this kind of stuff. And he had this big painting that I'd done in college where it was Charlie Parker standing in an empty swimming pool, and there's a kid like board sliding on the top of the pool. And it just said, when you going to stop this jazz? Because I had friend that I would go skating with all the time, and his wife was thinking, well, that's just kid stuff. You really need to stop. You know, just trying to get the husband to not do this anymore. So that's what this painting was kind of about and stuff. And so I was doing, you know, I was definitely doing big stuff. And then when the band stuff started up, everything just kind of shifted. And it's you know, I tell people this one too all the time. You know, all of us sitting in here, everybody listening to this, if they're still listening, you're taking those steps, and then every once in a while there's that really big step. Probably when y'all started this was probably a big step kind of thing, where everything just kind of shifts. And so that's what happened with the music. And so I kept doing art, but I was doing like posters now and album covers, and I wasn't doing anything really big. And so probably early 2000s I started getting asked to do art again, because a lot of the people that like were doing, you know, BMX and skaters and graffiti kids and all that stuff kind of took what we did with the music and decided like, okay, well, all of us sitting in here right now, we can't do this here, we can't do it. We're going to start it over here. If you want to come on, you know, kind of type thing. And all of a sudden you had all these indie galleries and all this stuff kind of starting up. And so they asked me to start doing stuff. And when they did, I kind of thought about it, and I was kind of realizing that, like, if you put something out there, you don't have a frickin' clue what's going to happen once it goes out. I mean, even with like these shows, like the stuff y'all were talking about earlier, you don't know what you're going to get back from saying that kind of, you know, talking about what you're talking about. And so we all influence somebody. All of us influence. I mean, constantly. Like somebody can see your hat today and go buy that hat, and you just influence. You didn't know. And it kind of came from me realizing all the bands that I'd been in and people coming up to me, which I was super honored and amazed and all that. But I just could see this everybody can, you know, kind of. So I decided that's what I wanted to start doing. I wanted to start painting people that would hopefully be some sort of a positive impact on somebody that comes in here, and it might flip the switch that they realize that all of these people did this, whether you know them or you don't know them. You realize they did this because something had to be done at that point in time. They didn't do it for validation. They didn't do it for money. They didn't do it for fame or anything like that. It was just something. And look what happened. Yeah. Like that's why, you know.
Is that why you started doing like the school murals and stuff? Is that like the
well, I started getting asked to. Well, I mean, I got.
You wanted to like.
Well, I mean, that's the art I was doing, and then people started asking me to do murals and stuff, which has been really great because it is. It's like you don't know.
Well, because like with your stuff, I love is like you want to learn. There's a story, you know, because you paint all these people and stuff with like old jazz singers and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, this is amazing, and then I want to know about these people on the wall, and so it's so then you. So there's this
no, but that's great. But that's thank you.
And so,
I mean, that's exactly what you're hoping is going to happen.
But it's different than like a lot of street art. I mean, I love street art in general because I do it myself. But it's just like it's cool to like you want to learn. You're just intrigued to learn more, and then it's like you want to like read about it, and it's like so it's like.
Well, I mean, like the one that's on 9th and Red River. It's like a whole bunch of people that nobody really talks about in Austin, and they're all from Austin, and so one of them, Arizona Drains. It's really great because she came to the blind school when she was a baby in the late 1800s. She learned how to play piano when she was 5. She got really, really good. And when the spirit overtook her, she'd like play with her elbows like Jerry Lee Lewis and all this stuff. And she had a real distinct rhythm and all that kind of. She's the very first piano on a gospel record, which is pretty amazing. And it's Austin. You don't hear about this woman at all.
I didn't even
know.
But
the thing that I like the best, because I always like, nah, wait a minute, got to go back kind of thing, is that Sister Rosetta Tharpe, who's freaking amazing. And if you watch that video on YouTube where she's Let It Rain, you'll be smiling for 2 weeks after you watch that thing. And everybody says she's the mother of rock and roll because of that rhythm and the way she was. When she was a kid, she used to go see Arizona Drains and watch her. So it's kind of like, wait a minute.
So this is the progression.
Let's go back, you know, kind of thing. So
how do you like learn this stuff? Is it just through listening to people talk,
reading, listening to people talk, people telling me stuff. Like Michael Corcoran showed me stuff about some of the things. I mean, it's been a lot of stuff.
I feel your inspiration comes from a lot of different places.
Well,
It's
because
not-
there's stuff
it's not
happening
just like
constantly.
skate culture
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
music.
I mean,
It's
there's
just,
like because it is.
just
It's
the
all tied
history
together.
of like the community and just
And somebody asked me like a couple of years into it, like how come I didn't paint my history? Like how come I'm not painting Ian or people like that? And
Yeah.
it kind of took me aback. But then I realized what was going on was because at that point in time, everybody that was coming to the shows, they already knew that history. Like
Yeah.
I want them to know about who influenced
unknown,
Ian or
yeah.
who, I mean, Mike Watt's a huge John Coltrane fan,
Mhm.
kind of thing. So,
He's fantastic. Yeah, big fan of his.
huh?
I'm a big fan of Mike Watts. I saw him. I've seen him a few times, and he's just like greatest. He did Fire Hose. I mean, obviously Minutemen. so
No,
many
he's
different
great.
things, yeah.
He's definitely one of the good ones. So he's.
for sure.
Have you heard the split single we did? Have you heard that yet?
No.
I think it came out
Oh yeah, it was.
either this year or the last of last
I was
year.
reading
or
about
something.
it, but I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, he was doing We Got Soul,
Y'all did this,
and
like-
he wanted me to do something, and I was just like, well, I mean, first of all, we don't sing in Up Around the Sun. There's nobody singing, and second of all, Jerry really kind of has to have some sort of melody that he's kind of doing on the banjo. So the only things I could think of was like Joe McCarthy's Ghost, which Jack of Fire band I was into did, and we did a really great version of that song, and Watt loved it and stuff like that. And then History Lesson, but History Lesson, like, you can't cover that song. That's the Minutemen. You can't. That's their. I mean, and it's kind of, for a lot of people, that line, Mr. Narrator, this is Bob Dylan to me. I mean, it's that whole period of time was a pretty big thing to a lot of the people growing up then and stuff, and just like Bob Dylan was back in the folk stuff. So I kind of was like, I don't, and then I kind of had, I don't know if epiphany is the right word, but the light bulb went off and I realized, oh, wait a minute. And so I sent to all kinds of people. I mean, everybody from John Doe to just, Beth Sonnet, like it didn't matter, just friends. I just sent out and said, hey, can you read these lyrics to me or sing them? And I'm going to chop it up, kind of thing. And I'm going to really think too about who I'm giving a line to, right?
Yeah.
So like our friend Julie, she grew up, she's like fourth generation Californian. She did learn punk rock in Hollywood, so she says that line, it's like, and Terry from the Pipe Bomb is the one saying, this is Bob Dylan. I think she's the one that says, this is Bob Dylan to me, because Pipe Bomb was just this total Woody Guthrie kind of sounding folk punk band that were so freaking great. So it's that, and John Doe says, I was John Doe, kind of thing. I mean, it's just all this, and
it's cool 'cause
it
it's
came
like the
out a
history
whole
of-
lot.
yeah.
Well, it came out like Mark Arm starts it. He said, our band could be your life. Beth is the one that first says, punk rock changed her lives. I'm saying me and Mike Watt, we played for years. Ray Barbie ends it because he is playing with Mike Watt, and so it's me and Mike Watt playing guitar, kind of thing. And so it's
Ray Barbie's the
lots of
legend, too.
people
I'm not
like
gonna lie about that.
lots of people, including me. John wrote me back going, I was tearing up, and I was just going, well, I'm glad I'm not the only one, because when you hear it, it's just it's hard to explain it. You just have to hear it. And what would happen would be I would write to people and say, hey, you want to do this, and if you wrote to me back and said, oh yeah, man, this is great kind of thing, and then I never heard from you again. Sorry, like I didn't write you again. Going, are you going to send this? It was just whoever sent, and we got enough stuff that all the lines got taken, and then there was enough people that when it goes into the little kind of guitar interlude things, you have different people saying punk rock changed her lives, kind of thing. So it's pretty. It turned out a whole lot better than I thought it was going to turn out. So it's just, I mean, I knew it was going to be kind of cool, but this is kind of, I mean, you can even kind of tell by my voice, I get kind of choked up thinking about it. So you need to hear it. It's pretty great. I don't know if it's on Bandcamp yet, or I don't know what. I mean, they put a single, Laundromat Records put the single out, and I'm not sure if there's still some left or what. So
I think it's great. That's like the whole. I mean, it sounds stupid, but like how you just keep looking forward. That's just like that's the right way to look at things.
Well, that's how you should be doing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just depressing. Like I'm saying, it's like
Well, so many people we know are still kind of living in weird like this envelopes or like bubbles. Just
Yeah,
I
but it's sad.
understand that, yeah.
It's like it's
Oh,
depressing.
yeah.
You know, it's like it's to each his own. But once again, I'm not going to get on a soapbox to the person. But at the same time, it's just like, I just can't imagine like living like your high school. I mean, there's there's definitely people that high school was the best time of their lives.
Oh,
and
yeah,
or
yeah, for sure,
college,
but
and
it's
it's just like that's sad. Like it's
Yeah.
look at all. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Keep
don't know.
moving, yeah, for sure. I want to thank
This
you.
is a wonderful comedy show,
Oh.
isn't it?
Oh no, I love it. It doesn't have to be all like
Well, comedy is like a loose
Yeah,
term here
yeah,
for
it's
sure.
fanboy
You know what I'm talking
hour.
about?
So,
Yeah.
some people think it's fun.
I just want to thank you for being on the show today.
Well, thanks for asking.
And I don't know. Obviously, you're the legend. Old school Austin. I mean, you are. It's just the reality of it all. It's great though.
So me and Rubin and Mary and all of us, we've all like
His name's Julian.
Julian, yeah, all of us,
That guy over
producer. But so me and Rubin like been friends for 10+ years, but we became friends through music and film and punk rock, and so he was always the older guy talking about all these things. So we'd go to art shows, and Mary and all of us would go to shows, and we just came influenced with Austin culture, and then we kept popping into like things that you were doing, and we're like, you're just one of those people that have influenced us a lot, and I appreciate you being on the show.
Well,
Like, thank you so much.
No,
Like,
thank you.
especially art wise, like I just did a street art show last weekend, and I did a skateboard, and I was thinking of all the boards that you did. And
Oh yeah,
going
yeah.
through that, and I was like,
what was that one called?
so it was Down and Dirty.
yeah, because
TV
I have
had,
some friends that
yeah.
had stuff.
So
in it.
I'm in an art crew with
No AC at that thing.
called Dream Team Supreme,
Yeah,
with TV Head and Smack and a lot of
Yeah,
other
yeah.
guys. But I do like a lot of street art, and it's always inspired me because it was like your street art
No AC at
is
that
not the
thing.
norm street
Yeah,
art.
Yeah,
You know, so I was always
Do you know that back during Bad Mother Goose, Bad Mother Goose got really ridiculously huge, and so they wanted us to do a service announcement for Austin for the people graduating from high school. Don't drink after graduation. Don't go real drunk and drive and all this kind of stuff. And they want us to do this thing, and so we go down there, and they knew that I'd done graffiti. So they were asking me if I would do a graffiti thing that says congratulations or whatever kind of type thing, right? So I did it, but dead center of it, I wrote "This shit's on TV." And I wrote it in such a way that if you knew how to read that stuff, it was clear as a
Yeah.
bell what
Yeah.
that thing said.
Yeah.
And so every time it would come on, I'd just be on the floor rolling because you could just see
Yeah.
"This shit's on TV."
that's awesome. Yeah.
I love that.
I always like the mockery of it, because like the great thing about street art is it's free art.
Yeah.
And it's for the public, and it's like, so I always had that punk mentality with like art, where it's like I want people just to see it, and
Yeah.
enjoy it, and feel it, and like hate it or love it. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah,
that, just the.
Because even if you hate it, maybe you'll go out and do something but you think's
I've had
better.
I've had religious groups go over and tag over my stuff.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
They think it's like, cult. Like I have cult, like Cat's cult, and so it's cult.
Yeah.
So like, they're like Jesus loves you
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
stickers and stuff like that. Julian does street art as well.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like a lot of like your kind of murals and like street art that I've seen of yours is kind of similar to like why I do street art, and I've like been doing like art since I was in second grade.
Oh, that's
but
great, though. Yeah, yeah.
like comics and stuff. But so it's all very like my art is very narrative,
Yeah.
and like I usually like to tell stories in my art. So that's like I feel like a similar type of like I'll go and put like posters up. But like sometimes it's like almost like comic panels,
Yeah.
and it kind of conveys some kind of like short story almost.
Yeah, he'll do
or
like
some kind of
portrait type
histories.
stuff.
Well, you
which is
should
like,
send me
yeah.
stuff so I
Yeah,
can
for
see.
sure.
I mean, all you got, that like when all this kind of first started, like the graffiti stuff,
Yeah.
I had people sending me alphabets
Oh
from
yeah.
East Coast and West Coast and Mid. So like Glenn Friedman, like
Oh,
all these different
wow,
people were
okay.
sending me alphabets.
Yeah.
Because I
So that
thought
you
this
could
stuff
use-
was great, and then I could read it and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I realized that people were taking the set list from Big Boy shows kind of near the
Oh,
end. So
wow.
I thought, So I started writing it, and it got to a point where the rest of the band was just like, God damn it, I don't know what song we're playing next. Week. Right? I was kind of,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
be writing all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm doing it like
Yeah.
a script.
Everyone's looking to someone start. Somebody start.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
That's too good. I
Hell
love
yeah.
it.
All right. Well, I guess we're ending the show at this point. We've had too much fun. Thank you for being on
you
this
for
No, of
show.
course. Thanks for asking. So.
Do you have anything you want to shout out? I know you have a show this Friday. Is there like websites or anything you want to?
I am Move TK on Instagram. So if you follow that, you can pretty much
We'll put a
see
link
where
at
all
the
this
bottom
stuff
as well,
is
yeah.
and everything. And the only other thing is like, go do something.
stay
Just
busy.
celebrate.
Yeah.
Celebrate your self-expression. I mean, like literally, we all have it. So. I sign everything your name here. And the reason I do that is because if you look at the bottom of this thing to see who did it, murals, any of this stuff, and you see your name here, it's like, yep, come on. You can make music, make clothes.
It's
I mean,
like an
that's
invitation.
that's the one thing about skaters that to me is kind of amazing, and I'm super humbled, honored, anything that I'm even a small part of that history is because of all these different groups, skaters seem to be the ones that are still moving forward. Like they're
I just
building
love that
parts, they're
DIY
building
style,
clothes,
you know,
they're
it's just like-
making. They're not, and they want to know the history, but they also want to know what
Create
you're
your
doing
own
now,
future.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's like
they're always
they're
moving
not
forward.
just like a lot
No
of the
Kamala is
Skateboarding-
one of our favorite
yeah,
skate
no,
shops.
that's a
and,
great
yeah.
skate shop.
I feel
so.
like it's because skateboarding is very like just get back on the board mentality. Like
Yeah.
you know, if you're gonna be a skateboarder, then you like if you fall off and you have a bad fall, then like you're still gonna want to skateboard, so you're gonna get it. You're
Yeah.
gonna have to get on the board
Yeah.
again.
And
so.
just roll. I mean, like if you just roll down a hill, you'll start grinning,
Yeah,
and there
it's-
it is.
it's
That's
going.
it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you don't need to be flying in the air,
Yeah.
going down the handrails, which is
Skirt
amazing
and a
when
half
people
pipe,
do
so-
it. But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
You don't have to be
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
super. You don't have to be Tony Hawk.
These damn kids.
Just crazy. You know.
These damn kids are also.
Tony Hawk's anti-graffiti. Fuck.
Can we smoke in here?